So, lots to say today, lots to say in the face of all of this. So, the title of my talk is Anything is Possible, isn't it? And I want you to look at this picture because Alex did such a beautiful job. There's this beautiful feather, who I think of as Heather. There's this beautiful feather that is pulling an old Western cart filled with a huge boulder. Yeah, you're the boulder, Jason. So, so I want you to just see that image because it feels like that at times. That's where we are in this world right now. We're feeling ourselves as though we're like these very weak feathers in the midst of this enormous thing going on. And that's not the case. And that's my job here today, to help you to remember you are not that feather. You are the power of the universe, knowing the truth about what is going on. So my title is Anything is Possible, isn't it? And the reason for isn't it is because, well, it's kind of up to you, isn't it? Challenging times, but up to you nonetheless. So I love a lot of Heather's lyrics in this song. To see the beauty right in front of me. There's a lot of beauty showing up in this world right now. There is a lot of beauty showing up because people are home, because people have had to slow down, because people have had to become mindful, have had to pay attention to one another. Some people are actually seeing each other for the first time because they've been so busy being on the go for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years of their lives. They're suddenly confronted with, oh, I see you again. Maybe they're falling in love all over again. They were talking about the population explosion that's going to happen from this. But think about it. People are actually getting to look at one another again and say and see and understand and experience the intimacy of what it means to see the beauty in the world, to see the joy in the world. That's a positive thing, to see the beauty with right in front of me. And then another lyric, to know that life's much more than what my eyes can see. We have to be willing to see our lives as much more than just what's going on in this world today. Because what's going on in this world today has come forward to do what it needs to do to help us expand and grow. And so I can see all of it as the perfect expression of an unfoldment of love and connectedness that is going to bring us out of this in a much more powerful way. In fact, I was telling them earlier, somebody said that it was going to be over in 2 weeks, and my first thought was, no, I don't want it to be over in 2 weeks. There's so much love coming out of this. Of course, I don't want anyone to get to die or to go through pain because of this virus. But what it's doing to the world, we really need it. So I'm looking forward to where we go once this whole virus thing is gone. Can we, and we must, be willing to keep what we've learned in action and not just think we're going back to a normal that didn't work in the first place. And then I love this line, Heather. I make a vow to live the present here and now. Yesterday, when I woke up, I was laying in my bed going, I literally have nothing to do, specifically. I have nothing that I have to do. There are things I want to do, but nothing. And there was a freedom in that, right? Present, the here and now. And I went through, Adam came over and gave us a class. Kevin, myself, and Will did a workout that was exhausting. And then Adam gave a yoga class that I did half of. I got halfway through it and collapsed. But then I had a lovely time laying there, waiting for it to end. But it was a lovely day. It was a beautiful day. And then Tender Greens, the restaurant here in Los Angeles, they have this thing now. You can go online and buy boxes of their produce that they get from their local organic gardeners. And so I bought 2 boxes of unbelievable produce, lettuce and celery and carrots and beets. And it was just gorgeous. And I went home and made this enormous, fabulous salad that we all ate. It was just, those are the kind of things. And I love what Tender Greens did because they said, we want to keep our gardener, our produce people, farmers, employed. So we will give you this service. All you do is you put it in, you go up and show up, and there's your box. You just take it and bring it home. It was just, I see that happening everywhere. So take each moment as it comes And I love this. I am resting in the truth within my soul. I am resting in the truth within my soul. What is the truth? I know Danny asked me that question, how do you talk to your patients? Well, there is a truth that's being blocked at the moment. There's a truth that is unfortunately being missed, being ignored because of all the hype around the facts. Truth and facts are not the same thing. Truth is truth, unchangeable. Facts change. So you get caught up in the facts, you're going to get caught up every minute because they're going to change every minute. And we can see that happening today on the news. So truth, I am resting in the truth within my soul. There's your job, to keep your mind focused on the truth, no matter what. So I have a quote today from Zig Ziglar, who I absolutely love. The title of my talk is Anything is Possible, Isn't It? And here's the thing, you decide what's possible. You're the only one that can decide what's possible. I can't decide what's possible for Adam or for Tiffany or for Daniel or Jim or Quest or Robbie or Jason or Heather or Thor. It's everyone in the room. I can't decide what's possible for them. Now, if it's not possible for Jim, is it still possible for me? You bet your ass it is. Because I'm not responsible for Jim's mind deciding what's possible. So this is the thing about race consciousness. I can't get involved with what Robbie thinks is possible. I need to know what I think is possible. And I don't want to be moved to believe what's possible based on what they all think. There is a truth within my soul that tells me what is possible. So Zig Ziglar says this about race consciousness. He says, I love this quote, the person who dumps garbage into your mind will do considerably more harm than the person who dumps garbage on your floor. Because each load of mind garbage negatively impacts your possibilities and lowers your expectations. Now just think about that. And you know what I really want to talk about? Mind garbage. Because I've never heard that. Have you ever heard that expression? Mind garbage. There is so much mind garbage going on in the world today, don't you think, Robbie? Yes. There is. There's just so much mind garbage going on. And here's the thing. Some of it we're going to say, oh, but that's the truth. That's what's happening. No, they're the facts. And sometimes the way it's presented, it's garbage. You know, when the edict came out for only essential businesses could stay open, I don't know if you noticed this, but when you looked at all of the things that were being kept, no one mentioned spiritual religion. No one mentioned the spiritual essential, the essential food of spirituality. It was gone from what's essential. And I think that speaks to the consciousness of our world right now. Believing that what is essential, and I agree with what they said was essential, but to me, the thing that goes to the top of the list is spirituality. Because your mind is the most essential thing you have. If mind shifts, if the entire world's consciousness shifts, everything shifts. So what are we doing about that? Well, you're doing it. I'm doing it. We are all doing it in this room because we believe that this is essential. So mind garbage, we got to turn off the news a little more often. Yes, I want to be kept up with what's going on, but there's a lot of mind garbage going on. I could turn around and listen to this newscast, and then I go to this one, it's the exact opposite. So what is that saying to my mind? I'm just like, what? Who's telling me the truth? You know who's telling me the truth? I am. Within me is the truth. And we've got to get back there. We've got to get there. I love Zig Ziglar's use of mind garbage. The person who dumps garbage into your mind will do considerably more harm than the person who dumps garbage on your floor, which would be annoying. But garbage in my mind, don't allow it, folks. Do not allow for the garbage that's in your mind. There's another lyric of Heather's that I didn't say that I loved. I make a vow. I make a vow to live the present here and now. What if I made a vow to no longer allow any mind garbage into my mind? A vow, that means something really sacred to me, that I no longer allow all of that negativity to be put into my mind. Will I still stay 6 feet away from you? Yes. Will I still ask you to wash your hands before you come into my house? Or, well, not many people are coming into my house, but will I still ask you to do everything that it takes to stay where you need to stay, to be healthy and safe? Yes, absolutely. But you know who I really don't want to be around me right now? the fear. I said who, I meant the thing. The thing I don't want around me right now is fear, which means people who are very fearful. I'm happy to stay with them, but that's the disease that's causing most of us the pain we're going through right now, the fear. And so keeping your mind clear, keeping your mind safe is of utmost importance during this time. I have a Deepak Chopra quote as well. Deepak Chopra, you and I are essentially infinite choice makers. I'll just resonate with that for a minute. You and I are essentially infinite choice makers. In every moment of our existence, we are in that field of all possibilities where we have access to an infinity of choices. In all areas, we have access to an infinity of choices. You are not relegated to a choice that is being dictated by what's going on. You have many, many choices. So I have a funny story for you. So yesterday, because all gyms are closed, Adam has been giving us workout programs. And there was a moment yesterday, I don't know if you knew I was going to bring this up today, but it really stuck with me. He gave us this exercise, and he put a chair, it's not this one, just so you know, it's a little too high, but he put a chair in front of me, and he said, now squat, now just go from this up to the top of the chair. And I went, what? He said, yeah, you just squat and then jump up to the top of the chair from the squat. I was like, I can't do that. I said, and then he did it, and I went, well, of course you can do it. You're 37 years old. Yes. I said, no, I don't. And in my mind, I'm like, wow, you're saying you can't do something. And in my head, I've already figured out how I jump, my feet don't hit it, I knock the chair over, and I crash. And then I had the vision in my head of, I do make it up there, and I keep going, right? And then I had so many different variations of this, but I hadn't tried it yet to see what the truth was about my body. And so, I just went, okay. I said, hold this chair. So he's holding the chair, and all of a sudden, from this position, I think, am I right about this? I literally jumped up onto the chair. I'd show you, but we don't have a chair the right size, and don't find one. Because my thighs are killing me now from having done it. But I did it, right? 10 times, three sets of 10. And once I did it, I was like, that wasn't that hard. A few moments later, and I know you're watching, Kevin, so don't get upset that I'm going to share this. A few moments later, I saw Kevin standing in front of the chair going, I can't do this. I was like, wow, this is going to play out a second time. And I was like, Kev, it's a lot easier than you think. And he gave me a look like, really? And then he did it, and he went, oh. And I thought to myself, so many things that we're looking at today, we are looking at going, we've never done this before. This is scary. We can't do it. We can't, what's going to happen? And yet, the truth is, if you get all that crap out of your head and you realize that someone is always holding the chair, which is the truth of who you are, that God self that you are, we can do anything. We have so many choices to make, and I was so excited once I did those. Well, no, I wasn't excited this morning when I woke up because there are muscles that I've never used before. Do not try this at home unless Adam is there to show you how to do it. So, although I know Tiffany does it every day in her workout, right, Tiff? You just go here, yeah. So this whole idea about this is new. I mean, I hear this all the time from people. This is new. This is so new right now, what's going on. It's scary. But you know what? So what? It's new. You know what? It wasn't new when it happened on the bubonic plague. That wasn't new. It's not new. It's happened before. It will happen again. It's who are you in the midst of it that really, really matters. So I may not have done that jump before, but other people have. And it's in me to do it. It is in you to stay clear. It is in you to stay on principle. And that's my final point today, staying on principle. Well, what is principle? Principle is this. Divine principle we teach in Science of Mind is this. We are spiritual beings. Let's just start there. I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe, meaning I am that God essence living in the essence of God. I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by my use of a spiritual law, which is the law of cause and effect. That's the entire definition of divine principle according to religious science, Science of Mind. I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed by my use of a spiritual law, the law of cause and effect. So what that means is, you want to talk about how to stay on principle? I never forget I'm spiritual. I never allow myself to relegate myself to that purely human place. And many people feel at times that they're these lowly human beings trying to struggle to rise up to something bigger than themselves. No, I never step off principle. And I love what Raymond Charles Barker used to say, never step off principle, even on special occasions. And this is a bit of a special occasion. Could be seen as that. I'll step off principle here. Come on, look what's happening. So I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe, meaning this is all God. It is all happening the way it's happening, and it will continue to happen and unfold, and we will come out of it with a much better understanding of who and what we are. So I am a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe governed, this is a big part, governed by my use of the spiritual law of cause and effect. Meaning, this whole thing is going to come down to how are you using your mind? Because how you use your mind is how you're going to experience this particular event in our lives. So, what I'm going to ask you all to do, and to do to the best of your ability, is to stay on principle, to refuse to participate purely as a disempowered human being. Refuse it. Refuse to buy in to the race consciousness that is scaring so many people to death. And understand who you truly are. It's happening, folks. It's out there. I get it. I understand it. I thought about it. Someone came into my house last night, and my first thought was, don't come close to me. I don't know where you've been. But that's intelligent. That's responsible. But I know who I am. So you can still have all of these feelings, know what you know, understand the facts, and please do understand the facts, but refuse to do any of it from a lowly place of just being a disempowered human. Because I believe I am a divine human being, God. A divine human being, God. And that's what I know for you too. So, to close this out, I just want everybody to take a deep breath. You know, the thought that I would be standing here in a room filled with only 10 of us, and that all of you would be at home watching online, you know, that never really crossed my mind, that that would be a reaction to something. And I got to hand it to Thor. Thor said to me, was it 2 weeks ago, Thor? Thor asked me after service, he said, can we talk tomorrow about what we're going to do when everybody has to stay home? And I looked at him like he was crazy, didn't I? Yeah. But I really did. I was like, Thor, that's a little extreme, isn't it? Well, here we are 2 weeks later, and it's right where it went. And I don't know where it's going to go, except that I do know where it's going to go. It's going to go wherever it needs to go to remind us. This virus is kicking each one of us in the ass, telling us, remember who you are. Because if you don't, I'll take over. Well, no virus is taking over my life, and no virus is taking over this earth. So it's time for us to get the kick in the ass and pay attention and go back to who we know ourselves to be. Right where I am, God is. The power of God, the presence of God, the love of God, the creativity of God, but most importantly, God as me, thinking from that place and allowing whatever comes forward from me to be the healing presence on this planet. And if I can do it, you can do it. And if you can do it, those around you can do it. And even if those around you can't do it, they will feel it from you on a subconscious level. And that healing presence, that vibration is going to be the very thing that kicks this thing in the ass and says, we remember who we are, you're gone. Namaste. Okay.